The fact that some people can't get supplies is a con, because for the people who can't get the money, then they can't get supplies in turn. So hello and welcome back to yet another video from Matt YouTube. And in today's video, as you can see by the title, I'm talking about money yet again. But today's video about money is going to be slightly different to the other one I did. The other one I did will be recommended here, but is mainly and just genuinely about money's value. If you want to know more about it, you can watch it, but that's just like what it is about. But this video is money controls consumption. Now this is a quite obvious thing, but I just want to put it into perspective and put it into light. So with that out of the way, let's get back. With difficult access to money, and money, well, not really difficult access, you have to put in work to get money. Now with that type of access to money, you're doing something in exchange for something else. Supplies might last longer. Let me put it into perspective. Okay, so depending on how much you make per year, there's a limited amount that you can spend on certain things, or prioritizing. For example, you want to buy a new chair, but you prioritize food for the family or for yourself instead of that chair. Now, supplies such as the chair, it might last longer. Obviously, food going to be needed on a daily basis, but still, I sound like a proper heartless businessman, but wait, I do have a conscience and a heart. I'll get to that in a bit. So with the limited amount of money let me just say this. Some people who may not make money or cannot get money or get help from the government or the council, they, let's just say that supplies last longer because of them. Food lasts longer because of them. And chairs and objects such as those last longer because of that. Now, due to money's technically difficult access, you're putting in your work and labor for that money. You would also want to not just prioritize, but make sure that the things that you bought last, even for you. But I'll say that there is a con to this. It's a pretty obvious con. Some people can't get supplies. That's the thing, because these supplies such as food are needed in order for us to survive. Now, if we can't survive, the obvious thing is that we die. So with people not being able to get supply. Now, if I were to say this from a businessman perspective, or like a heartless perspective, I'll say that less people, less work. But no, I'm not like that. So what I am going to say is that less people, the worse it is in general for humanity. I mean, like, just because they didn't have something that doesn't, me personally, in my personal opinion, does not have any value, they can't live nor survive. Personally, I find that quite stupid, but not the fact that their life is precious, but the fact that since they can't gain or get enough money to sustain, then they can't survive. Now, money, okay, in the public's eye and in what it's worth, really, money has a sort of value. To put it like this, people exchange money as their new currency or as a source of currency to gain other things such as food, pleasurable stuff, TV, beds, all sorts of stuff. Now, the fact that some people can't get supplies is a con, because for the people who can't get the money, then they can't get supplies in turn. So in the end, supplies, they still expire. This is another con. Due to them lasting longer, let's say you have donuts in a shop or vegetables in a shop, they obviously expire. Pretty much everything that you can eat expires. Pretty much. Now, what really should be happening is that it should be easier for people to make the money so that consumers can literally consume those things so that they can continue living. But I guess that's not how it works. This is just my understanding, just to put that out there. This is just my understanding. But yeah. So let me wrap it up. Not just let me wrap it up. Let me sum it up as well. Money is quite difficult to get and its access is quite limited, I'll say, which in turn supplies last longer. But you don't necessarily want food supplies to last longer because food supplies may and can expire. So there is a bad and a bad in both of the things that I just said. Due to the fact that money is difficult to gain access to, or you need to put in your hard labor or work to gain money. Due to that fact, some people might not be able to get or have money. In turn, they won't have supplies. So basically, they're trying to tell you, put in your work, we'll give you this, and you can live. Yeah, that sounds about right. So I'll say with the fourth con, I mean, these are pretty much all cons, to be honest. There's nothing good about this. The fact that money controls consumption. Money is something that, me personally, I find it to be quite valueless. But in the end, that kind of makes me a bit of a hypocrite because I still use it to pay and buy things. Since society and the government and all that stuff decided that this will be our new currency. What am I doing? That money, paper, will be our new currency. So let me go on to the fourth point. I'll say. I'm gonna read this just to let that out. Currency is basically just a way of making things last, but it also doesn't necessarily have an upside or a good effect to that. Okay, yeah, it's a way of making things last, but in a pandemic, such tactic like that is quite useless, as you probably may have experienced or heard that the consumption of toilet paper back then there was no toilet paper left. So that tactic of limited money, consumption is also limited. It doesn't work in a pandemic such as that, when people are frantically buying to survive in general. Now, still personally, money's value, me personally, it's not originally it's not necessarily valuable or doesn't have any value personally, but after people say yes, this has value, and people agree, sure, yeah, this thing has value, that's when something has value. If, I don't know, someone up there in the ranks decide that one day the more I don't know, plastic you have, the richer you are, or the more houses or land you have that you claim or something, you are richer, so something like that. Then if the currency changes and people agree, now that thing, you put value on that thing, and the other thing will be pretty much worthless. Stated for the old £1 coin. I mean, you don't really see it being used, and it's not really valuable at all, really. That's basically how it is. And but if we put a value on something with everybody agreeing, then that is a currency, something that is used to trade, exchange, or exchange things for. Now, I guess that wraps up this video. I hope you've enjoyed it, and I'll see you in the next video this week. Peace.
I'm a OG. ride or die. I keep boys by my side. Know that they ride or die. I keep boys by my side.
Day we hustle, but the night we
Know that they ride or die.